Now, I'm a coach. You know, a lot of this is academic research, and I think that's an important part of delving into a topic. But really, why I do is because I like to help people get from A to B, and I like to help people change. And so when I look at this, I think, okay, how do you translate this theory into something that's practical and actionable by leaders on a day-to-day basis? And I went to a discussion recently by a guy called David Marquette, who wrote the book called Turn the Ship Around. And he came out with a nice comment, which was something along the lines that bosses think their way to new actions, but leaders act their way to new thinking. So bosses think their way to new actions, leaders act their way to new thinking. And the reason I like that is that it's linked to this word habit. You know, I know this is a shameless sort of copy of Covey's use of that word habit, but I think habits are really powerful because those are the ways that we act towards new thinking. And so this idea that if we can develop new habits, if we can practice behaviors, and if we can work with coaches who are helping us practice these behaviors, then we're sort of subtly rewiring our own thought processes through that activity. So as a pragmatic person, I'm very keen to translate this into actions and behaviors. So these words, ability, integrity, and benevolence, based on the interviews that I've done as part of my research, based on the literature, and based on my experience as a coach, I think there are 9 habits that can be actioned beneath each of these words. So under ability, there's the habit to deliver, and then the habit to help others deliver, which is coaching. And then the habit to do that day in, day out on a consistent basis, and not to go in on Monday and be a different person on Wednesday and Friday. Under the habit, under the pillar of integrity, honesty. Honesty in deed, in word, and honesty to self. Being open. Probably some of you have come across Brené Brown's work on vulnerability. So being open, at the core of being open is not just telling the truth, but sharing of oneself at a new level and exposing those vulnerabilities. Being humble. So Jim Collins in his Level 5 leadership talks about professional will and personal humility. Professional will being like the deliver, we need to be able to do what we say we're going to do, combined with this humility or choosing to be humble. And under benevolence, I think we need more leaders who can evangelize. This is a sort of an interesting word. It means spreading the good news. You know, if we've got Dave Carroll singing his song on YouTube and 15 million people watching it in terms of the bad news about business, we're going to need leaders who are much, much better at spreading the good news and evangelizing around what their businesses do, how they lead, and really taking that out and getting on the front foot in terms of communication. Bravery. I don't mean physical bravery or personal bravery. I mean moral bravery. I think Jessica mentioned this morning that you know, we need to speak up. Moral bravery for me is, you know, that ability to speak up on behalf of the wider good and to be prepared to do that in more and more different contexts. And finally, save the best till last, kindness. Kindness, compassion, kindness. I mean, when I was in Logica, if I'd have used that word, they probably would have struck me off at 48 hours notice. Kindness. I think kindness is going to become a big word in business and a big word for business leaders, because I think without it, this model will not be complete. And I think we will need leaders who know how to be kind as well as doing all the rest of those habits on that chart.